Before I begin the video, I want to give thanks and appreciation to God because without Him, I wouldn't have the encouragement and perseverance to get up every day, and that's what my belief and faith rests in. I love you very much, God, and I thank you for allowing every day.
So 1, 2, 3 now, baby. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. On a mission undercover and we're in control. Here we go. Here we go. Totally spies, so get on with the show. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Hey dudes and dudettes, I hope your day is going just as sublime as your face. Welcome to my channel, The Jazzy Diaries, where I give my opinion and analysis on movies and TV shows, and every blue moon I may vlog from time to time. In today's video, I will be talking about Totally Spies. While opinions are more than welcome, however, there are boundaries in having opinions which can be harmful. Please keep it respectful, insightful, and tasteful in the comment section if you do decide to comment down below, and the world will continue to be a beautiful place for everybody. Now with that being said, let's unpack this video. Growing up in the early 2000s was really a time period to enjoy as a child, and you really didn't think anything of the era you grew up in. We always had something to do, whether you were having fun with family and friends, being outside, or being involved in your local activities in your town or school, and when you weren't doing any of those, you were inside watching TV. We had such a wide range and variety of good shows to watch for all kids, from Codename Kids Next Door, Danny Phantom, The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, and down to Avatar The Last Airbender. And specifically targeted shows for the girls were Bratz, Witch, and Winx Club. Even though Winx Club was problematic, it was just the aesthetic that was really inviting. However, if you heard this sound, you knew you were about to watch Totally Spies. Totally Spies is such an enjoyable nostalgic train to get on and become excited about, considering this was one of the go-to shows to watch when it came on, and if Y2K was a person, it would be Britney Spears and Totally Spies rolled in one. The literal personification of girly girl that had style, color, and the cutest fashion wear that kept the girlies invested in every episode. Their gadgets were pretty, and their cat suits were color coordinated and tailored towards their individual personality. Sam wore the green suit, Clover wore the red suit, and Alex wore the yellow suit. They even had a fun game where you fight robots and use gadgets to stop the bad guys, and it was so addictive playing this as a kid, and you felt like a spy going on missions with them. Totally Spies was a TV show for girls who loved to be colorful and assertive in her femininity and still have tons of fun as a girl and not taking any nonsense from anyone, and every episode was so mesmerizing. They made a new animation of Totally Spies, and the design isn't great to me like the old one was. And I believe they're trying to appeal to the younger kids, as the original animation design was more for teens and young adults. Despite the obvious stereotype dialogue for girls living in Beverly Hills, California, with how Clover specifically talks, it was still visually, aesthetically pleasing, and I liked how they were still feminine and still handled business anytime a mission needed to be completed and done. And it still carried wholesome life lessons that can be instilled in children. This is when shows were doing a darn thing and really invigorated kids' childhoods growing up in the early 2000s. And I don't think a lot of kids nowadays can rush home and be excited to watch TV shows and movies because it genuinely lacks substance now and is full of all kinds of mind-numbing, brainwashing nonsense. Slight annoyance, but let's continue. The Totally Spies trio consists of Sam, Clover, and Alex. They start off being in high school and then later college, and I believe they switched group leaders from Clover being lead then to Sam, who in my opinion is a more logical choice. Sam is the leader in a girl in a green suit, and she is driven, ambitious, and logically focused. She is book savvy centered and less boy crazy than the other two, and intelligent, and always looks before she leaves. Clover is the boy crazed, fashion savvy one in the group, and she wears the red suit. She's a social butterfly, loves sushi, and the incredible hyper-feminine girly one in the group that takes the opportunity to live out her dreams of being a fashion designer and commits to it. She leaps before she looks. Alex is a sporty animal lover of the group, and she's the one that wears the yellow suit. She loves music, plays soccer, easygoing, and loves her pet turtle Ollie, and dreams to become a veterinarian. She rarely looks or leaps. Totally Spies was literally like a Charlie's Angels animation form, which made it so cool to analyze. Now, the episode I wanted to talk about was when Clover got kidnapped by this weird, image-obsessed maniac that specifically wanted to use models' body parts to switch with other women for the sake of switching with other women as a point of their own insecurity, to make something that isn't perfect to achieve perfection. Sam and Alex are really trying to tell Clover in so many words to love herself and not be so hard on herself when it comes to her looks. All three of them are attractive in their own ways, and no outside validation can change or improve your self-esteem based on what others think of you. Only you can improve yourself because you want to choose better for yourself, and not from the praise of other people, but people who are willing to genuinely support you and hold you accountable for your actions. Clover, of course, allowed her self-centered inferiority to get the best of her, where she found out the hard way of what trying to be someone she wasn't cost her, and her selfishness, and even seeing Alex and Sam as competition is what also gave her her own consequence, so now she had to fight her way out of it because she got herself into her own mess. I'm glad that Sam and Alex didn't take to heart on what Clover failed to do, which was be a friend to them and be reliable and trustworthy, where they wouldn't have to second guess her actions because they can count on her as a friend knowing that she's supported them with nothing to gain from it. They spend a majority of the episode rescuing models and kidnapped girlies and transferring body parts and facial features onto the girlies, including Sam and Alex. What I wanted to highlight was the self-esteem that was neglected purposefully from this episode, as it entails so many insecurities that show up on a lot of women's faces, literally, and they don't hold the man accountable like they should. Specifically, when he criticized Clover's body and her seeking a man's validation instead of standing up for herself was really disappointing. It's sad to say that most women, unfortunately, Clover as well, subject themselves to the male gaze and are too insecure to stand up to men who don't want to man up and project their insecurities onto women who then put themselves against other women and self-criticize body features they can't help, thinking that they're missing out when really it's a fear of overanalyzing and subjecting themselves to self-torment. Clover had to see that comparing herself would only lead to mental delusions and only ended up mad at herself for what she put herself through. And even Alex's insecurity flared up when she mentioned, the model isn't so perfect after all. It's just a one-sided retort for not seeing things for what they truly are instead of what you want them to be. It's sad that so many people judge a book by its cover instead of getting to know who the person is before you assume the worst from them. All of this body image comparison stems from deep-rooted insecurity within for why glamorizing vanity has become the sin of which people try to perfect when really no one was ever called to be. And that's okay. To be secure in oneself despite the flaws that you as a human have is commendable and honorable. And that's all that Clover had to embrace, and Sam was very sweet and encouraging to her. Because all it is just an utter lack of self-confidence when you allow yourself to be easily persuaded by anything you think that can sweep all of your problems under a rug instead of genuinely embracing vulnerability and being okay being an individual, which is why we should be celebrating differences instead of berating them and shutting them away. Totally Spies was actually a great product of its time, and it was really nice going down memory lane of how the show was, as it was a pivotal part of girlhood childhood and will always be a refreshing girly aesthetic to remember. I am so glad you came across my video, and I hope you enjoyed today's content. I appreciate you guys so much for taking a gander on my channel. Feel free to express your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you'd like to keep up with any upcoming announcements, news, and posts on entertainment, be sure to check out my blog. The link is in the description box, and if you made it to the end of the video, comment a smiley emoji. And remember, without God, we all wouldn't be here. Well, that's all folks. Have a happy rest of your day. Bye!